this is pretty striking in the amount that Trump has done and he's trying to do in the last final waning months of his presidency. He's executed a lot of federal prisoners. So 8 people have been put to death in less than 5 months, and 5 more executions are planned before the end of President Trump's administration. Those numbers stand in harsh contrast to the 3 people executed by the federal government in the previous 50 years. So just think about that. That is what? That's, I can do math, 12 people who are going to be, that's 12 people who are gonna be executed in the final months of Trump's administration compared to the 5 that have been executed or the 3 that have been executed in the last 50 years. That's insane. And we know that Biden coming into the White House has promised to actually work to end the death penalty. In fact, I think that's might be one of his executive orders, but definitely on a federal level.
Yeah, I am with ending the death penalty. I just think that for obvious reasons, I don't even think we need to go into, but like you can never tell if you were right about that person doing it, and I'd rather they stay alive and fight it and be able to overturn that execution than to that execution order than to kill them. However, I will also add that in addition to this, one of those things that's been circulating, I think ProPublica added it in one of their like 1,000,000-page long articles, and then it's kind of made its way to different parts of like the internet, which is that Trump is fast tracking the firing squad and the electric chair, because in order to put people to death, typically you have to put this drug cocktail together, which has had tons of bad results where it hasn't worked right. And so they made it harder for you to get those drugs in the drug cocktail. So Trump and his cronies have essentially found a way to fast track the bringing back of firing squads, which like there is no time in when firing squads happened, those times were bad. Like we don't want to go back to a time when there ever were firing squads. It just gives you an idea of how archaic and ridiculous the execution, and it's just Trump wanting to be like a big boy.
Sure.
Maim them, dismember them.
Right. I mean, what are we gonna go back to hanging? The guillotine, maybe not that bad. Hey, jury's still out. No, but there is clearly no humane way to execute someone. We've seen that. You just mentioned the drug cocktails, but yes, going back to like bizarre, 18th century methods of killing people in the year 2020. Here we go, when they're dying because of your recklessness and a global pandemic. But yes, that is, Brett has mentioned the last thing that we want to talk about in this lame duck period and this literal senioritis that Trump is experiencing right now, which is all of these final pieces of legislation, which are unclear whether it's legislation. It's mostly just laws that he is enacting through his various agencies and in multiple realms. So Brett mentioned the firing squad trying to bring back, and electrocutions for federal executions, and giving the government more options for administering capital punishment as drugs used in lethal injections as they become unavailable. But in addition to that, we've got, anyone had salmonella? I've had salmonella. I've had something very similar to salmonella. Don't ever order just like broccoli at like a bad Chinese food restaurant. Take it from me. But suddenly it's going to be a lot easier to get salmonella, in case you wanted to know what it's like to go to the bathroom 100 times in a day. 6 days after President Trump lost his bid for re-election, the US Department of Agriculture notified food safety groups that it was proposing a regulatory change to speed up chicken factory processing lines. Remember, these are also places where COVID is rampant. A change that would allow companies to sell more birds. An earlier USDA effort had broken down on concerns that it could lead to more worker injuries and make it harder to stop germs like salmonella. Yum, yum, gotta get that in real quick.
Well, I just want to say on the food safety, there are already multiple countries that are just like, we're gonna pass on American food. Like, we're still gonna eat, pizza and burgers and stuff. We're just gonna make it from other people's beef and pork because you guys are crazy. Yeah. As much as the right laments food safety regulations that slow down business, everyone else is much better at this than we are. Like, we might have some stupid regulations. I will admit that. But these ones aren't stupid. Like they're making it so literally there can be more poop in your food and you have to be able to see the poop. Like that's literally a law they passed or that they, executive ordered into existence, which, just like traces of poop is fine as long as you can't see visual poop. Meanwhile, we're gonna speed up the carcasses. So you're watching them like this, like cars on a freeway. So even if there would have been visible poop, they're moving so fast that it's just blurry. Maybe that was poop.
Oh, I always like blurry poop. Blurry poop is better than, the best is no poop.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna have poop, make it blurry. It's exactly right. Also, like, how much money are we talking? These are already places that have been shut down due to COVID and putting their workers at risk. They've had multiple deaths, and now they just want to speed everything up and take fewer precautions. Look, I'm going back to my vegetarianism, Brett. After the turkey and the whatever poop it did or did not contain, I'm just going back to veggies and legumes.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.